It was supposed to be just another high-stakes rivalry, Accra Hearts of Oak versus Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the Clásico of Ghana. But by the end of the night, 126 people would never make it home. On May 9, 2001, Ghana's two footballing giants were meeting at the Henrichs Sports Stadium in Accra, a venue filled beyond capacity with over 40,000 fans. The tension was thick, the rivalry fierce, and the stakes sky high. To understand how intense this match was, we need to go back a few years prior. Before this match, Asante Kotoko had not won the Ghana Premier League in 7 seasons since the 92-93 season, whilst Hearts of Oak had won it for 4 seasons in a row, from 96 to 2000. To add insult to injury to the Kotoko fans, Accra Hearts of Oak had clocked in major successes in the last few years. Hearts of Oak's 64 Battalion had just achieved a continental treble. They were ranked 8th in the world by CNN World Soccer in its weekly chart, and Sir Cecil Jones Atikwe was named the CAF Coach of the Year. So Hearts of Oak were in their peak, and Kotoko seemed to be disappearing in their shadows. Now, to top it all up, Hearts of Oak were on their way to win their 5th league title in a row, and an away win for Kotoko in this match would have turned things around in their favour. So the stakes were really high for both clubs. Anticipating crowd disturbances, authorities had implemented extra security measures, including stationing riot control police officers at the stadium. Some of the big names for Accra Hearts of Oak were Emmanuel Osekufo, Ismail Ado, Sami Ejei, and Jacob Nete. For Kotoko, Osei Boateng, Aziz Ansah, Duah, and Lawrence Ejei led the charge. At 1700 GMT, the highly anticipated match kicked off. The game itself was intense, but not much had happened in the first half, except some sporadic dominance by Asante Kotoko. Now, in the second half, the match was noticeably different. 12 minutes into the second half, Lawrence Ejei scored the first goal for Kotoko, sending their fans into raptures.
The brilliant flag it was from Lawrence Ejei. Terrific drive. An absolute missile of a shot.
But Hearts of Oak star Ismail Ado struck back twice in quick succession in the last 15 minutes of the game to take the lead.
Well, the equalizer happened. Osekufo. Try to look for Ismail Ado, and this will be the winner. This will be the winner. Ismail Ado. Ismail Ado.
That's when emotions boiled over. Frustrated Kotoko fans began tearing up plastic chairs and hurling them on the pitch. Some even threw bottles. Friendly banters had become petty complaints, and disapproval had turned to protests. The situation spiraled quickly. What had begun as a high-stake football match had transformed into a full-blown riot. The Ghana police, led by Chief Superintendent Granting Minta, ASP John Asari Nami, ASP Fachi Kumi, ASP Frank Awua, ASP Francis Ayew, and ASP Benjamin Bakamora, were called, and they responded, not with de-escalation, but with force. In a decision that would prove catastrophic, the police fired tear gas into the stands. Now, before we move on, let's take a brief moment to understand how deadly tear gases are. A lacrimatory agent, or tear gas, is a chemical compound that irritates the eyes, the nose, and respiratory system, causing tearing, coughing, and discomfort. It's commonly used by law enforcement for crowd control and riot dispersion due to the ability to temporarily incapacitate individuals without causing permanent harm. However, prolonged exposure or use in enclosed spaces can lead to serious health risks, including respiratory distress, skin irritation, and, in rare cases, long-term eye or lung damage. So, the decision to use the tear gas was very questionable. Now, fans, many of whom were already agitated, now found themselves choking, blinded, and desperate to escape. But the stadium gates were locked. Exits were blocked. A panic and stampede ensued as fans tried to flee the irate fumes. Many of the arena's gates had been locked, and the stadium's compromised design left a bottleneck, with fewer exits than originally planned. Now, in the chaos, people surged towards the few open passages. In the crash that followed, fans were trampled, suffocated, and pinned against walls. Within minutes, 126 lives were lost, most of them due to compressive asphyxia. Till this day, it remains the deadliest stadium disaster in Africa's history. Ghana was left in shock. The morning after, television screens were filled with haunting images, rows of lifeless bodies, weeping families, and blood-stained steps. The nation mourned collectively. President John Kufuor declared 3 days of national mourning. the Ghana Premier League suspended play for a month and investigations were launched. A commission of inquiry found multiple failings, from poor crowd control to locked exit gates and excessive use of force by the police. The 6 police officers were charged, but later acquitted, and unfortunately, no one has ever been held fully accountable. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to make a case, and that the asphyxia may have been caused by the stampede and not the tear gas. In the wake of the tragedy, the Ghanaian government pledged reforms. Stadiums were upgraded, emergency procedures were reviewed. A bronze statue was erected outside the stadium of a fan carrying another fan to safety with the inscription titled, "I am my brother's keeper," and that was in honor of the victims of the tragedy. Since 2001, corporations and philanthropists, including Herbert Mensah, who was Asante Kotoko chairman from 1999 to 2003, have memorialized this tragedy with the Stadium Disaster Fund and a series of events in Kumasi.
Lessons will have to be learned to prevent such a dreadful event ever happening again.
And every year since, May 9th has been commemorated, not with cheers and goals, but with silence and remembrance. Former Hearts and Kotoko players now walk hand in hand to lay wreaths. Rivalry gives way to unity, because on May 9th, we don't remember goals, we remember lives. Fans who attend matches at the stadium now chant, "Never again, never again," to remind themselves of this day. Football is more than a game. It's a mirror of our society. The May 9th stadium disaster exposed deep flaws, but also revealed Ghana's capacity for mourning, for healing, and for change. To the 126 who never made it home, you are not forgotten. Your memory lives in every chant, every match, every moment of silence. May you rest in peace. If this story moved you, consider sharing it, not just to remember, but to remind. No fan should ever go to a match and not return. Not in Ghana, not anywhere. Subscribe to Base Sports. Thanks for watching. Take care and watch this video or watch this other video instead.